All right, and welcome back to another session. And we are actually going to do a series of sessions revolving around the topic that we're going to discuss today, and that is the process of stress. We have talked a lot about mental health, we've talked about stress and how that affects various parts of the body, but we want to get into really the process of what happens when we're stressed, when we have these various, I guess, versions of stress that we'll get into in a minute. But yeah, that is what we want to talk about today. You know, I guess what is happening when we are stressed? Like, what is that process? Can you explain that?
Yeah, we have to consider one thing. Okay, we are individual. We're creating a footprint of our life, and so life itself, everything around, from the wind to the sun to people around us, the trees, the birds, everything, the environment that's around us, it actually produces stimulus. Okay, and that's not bad. Those stimulus could be new. Okay, so those new stimulus could be uncertainty, surprises. Some of the stimulus activate some mechanisms. So, in the case of stress, anything that's surprising new, like you're in an accident, you fall, you have an infection, and if you're a baby, you're exposed to the sun, the light for the first time, that activates the stress mechanism. Or if you're exposed to a bacteria, or let's say as a kid you fall. So the stress mechanism is important because it does help with the healing. And there's another thing is learning. So our body learns from these processes where we take the external world and we match up to our own internal biology. And then through this process also our internal biology learn, and it gets smarter. So our immune system gets smarter. Our whole body activates some genes that helps with protection against insults. So that's what we got. But there's also the other part, which is the psychological component of these experiences that bring emotions. And those are chemicals too. And something new happened. Let's say I'm a baby and mom is not home. Okay? And then that creates a psychological component where there's emotions involved. So that situation turns the stress mechanism. So now, and as we grow, new things happen. I go to school for the first time. Okay, it turns the stress mechanism, and or I'm going to get married and I'm thinking about the finances, or
Hmm.
maybe there is something else at work, or my teacher at school says we have a test next week. So it turns the stress mechanism. Okay, and that's very positive, by the way. Okay.
Well, so, what you're saying though is that anytime though we have a new situation or even an unexpected situation, whether we're a baby or whether we are 65 years old, that's going to cause a stress mechanism to kick in.
Yeah, and indeed, and it's a well-designed body without this physiology. It is actually trying to match the external world. And the memories that we have in our body. And there is naturally when there is a physical component of stress with an infection, the body already knows what to do. Okay? It does know and perfectly bring you back to health. Okay, and of course you need nutrition and sleeping and some other good habits. Okay, to be sure that the healing happens. And of course but when it comes to the psychological component, new experiences, we are the one, not the body. Okay, whoever you think you are, your conscience, your spirit, your soul, is the one that has to make a choice on what kind of response is going to give to that experience. So there is a physical part that includes chemicals that give you emotions, whatever they might be. You might be upset, you might be sad, you may be anger. So these are the chemistry that's taking place, through that experience. But now, the thing about this is this process, the stimulus, it doesn't make that biology in physiology to stay in that point. So it's just a spark, it's just a moment, it is a flick, it is temporary, it's transient. But now, the response is the one that determines. No, is the stress, is the biology, the chemistry, and the physiology stays longer. And of course, every experience is different. Some situations and stimulus are really much more greater, like somebody die, or I lose my job, or there is a divorce, or I found out that my best friend betrayed me. Okay, or somebody wrote a check and when it wasn't me who wrote it, and in my check account, or somebody took money without permission from the office. So that actually it's some of the situations that can take place. So, but the fact here is, stress happens, and it will happen. Doesn't matter what. Okay, let's say my job stimulates my stress mechanism, and then I can do something about it. I can actually say, I'm going to change my job. So, and what I do is I'm just changing one stressor, this environment, for another one. Because I move into another place where there's going to be people that are going to make mistakes, situations are going to happen. And literally, I'm just exchanging. Or like if I choose to change a spouse for another one. No. I mean, no matter how much illusioned I am about the possibility of something better, of course, you're just changing for. I mean, of course, if it's a situation that's pretty bad in the marriage, I mean, you don't want to stay there. But nevertheless, that's pretty much the process. So how do I respond is the key.
Yeah, and I just do want to point out that tends to be a big, I guess, advice nowadays. Which, like you mentioned, obviously, if it's like an abusive situation, that's entirely different. But there's seems to be advice floating around a lot that is like, if you're not happy with your spouse, that means you need to just get another wife, get another husband, or you're not happy with your job, that means that you just need to, get a different job. But as you mentioned, that you're just going from one situation to another where there's still going to be stimulus, there's still going to be stressful moments, there's still going to be all those different components.
And and the thing is literally the response. And if we respond incorrectly to the experience the first time, let's say it's the first time something happened between interaction with others or with situations. First time you respond improperly, okay, you choose incorrectly in the right way to respond, because stress is to learning, is for opportunities, for growth, okay? Stress is good, okay? But it's transient, no? But if I respond incorrectly, this mechanism stays longer with me. The emotions, the strong emotions, growth, and it brings more pain. So now, from this point, if we don't reconcile things, the problem is we can produce a maladaptation, and that's a problem. Maladaptation could be I have the pain that I feel because I overthinking, that my boss is the problem, but I never go and talk to him. So I choose a bad adaptation instead of going and speaking and trying to understand what is going on or express my feelings about it, or maybe I go and express wrongly where I make the crisis bigger. So I choose a bad adaptation, and I say, okay, my maladaptation is I'm going to drink tonight so I can feel better. Because, alcohol helps you feel better. Or I go outside my workplace and start smoking. Or I go and eat a lot. Or maybe tonight I'm so exhausted I'm going to watch pornography. Or I'm going to go and play poker. No, to just feel better. So this maladaptation, that is not only with substance, but also with behavior. It could be backbiting. No, start talking bad about my boss, with my wife and everybody else. So that it creates a temporary relief. Okay, but unfortunately we choose incorrectly. So we go from a bad response first to eventually bad adaptation because we have these feelings that it makes me feel angry or sad or upset, and then now I need the beer, or I need to hide or run or whatever I do. No? Stay in front of TV for hours and hours. So the problem with a better maladaptation is that we create beliefs. Yeah, beliefs that really is going to uh, create problems with the understanding of what this really means, the understanding if I have resources or not. But it's, when you see this, it's always the type of adaptation we choose. It creates a triangle from thoughts to emotions, because always thoughts are connected to emotions, to feelings, to behavior. And if it's a good adaptation, see, let's say I feel uncomfortable at work, I misunderstood something, I go and talk to you, you're my boss, and I say, can you explain me, what this is, because I feel uncomfortable. Maybe I misinterpret. Please let me know why you make this choice, etc., etc. No? So, and that's a good adaptation. So I go and try to release my level of anxiety and stress. Okay, like if it's a problem with the bank. So a good adaptation is to call the bank and figure out, okay, let me why these fees were. Maybe I can talk to the boss of the boss and say, look, I have a family and all these fees were charged. Can you help me out and just give me those charges back? So this is a good adaptation. A better adaptation is ruminating. Start sitting there, gossiping about this bank and, shouting and going complaining to the person that has not even a decision making, the person on the phone, okay, without really trying to solve the problem. So I didn't solve the problem. Okay, and then I get angry, and then the dog walks by me, and I kick the dog. I, maybe use my wife as a punching bag, or my kid, or somebody in the street. So this is a bad adaptation. It produces a lot of problems because, the bad adaptation will continue having the wrong behavior, the wrong thoughts, these emotions that are unpleasant, okay, and even way beyond the problem. Years later, I do this, and impossible to deal with stress that way. So I think this is our first session we have on the stress, and you have a comment, Ulysses. We'll continue on the next session.